Hey everybody, welcome to the show. I'm Ryan, he's Mike, it's Eggs. This is eggs. This is eggs. This is eggs.
Get all the eggs. Get all the eggs.
All right, so today we got a really good friend of mine,
Special
DJ Tamm,
guest in the house.
Special guest, yes.
I don't know about special.
No, not that kind of special. It's like special.
Special.
You're
yeah.
a special guest.
So DJ Tamm from Seattle. He's a DJ that does the booking for Ballroom, one of the venues I play at a lot. And he also has a couple radio shows. You still do Nocturnal Transmission on C89, right?
Yep, 89.5.
89.5. He does that every Wednesday
In Seattle.
So
And that's what kind of music is that show?
Trance
Is that a
music.
trance show?
Trance.
yeah, so that's a whole subgenre that's kind of its own thing. Like it.
Yeah, there's subgenres off of trance, actually.
Yeah,
There's a whole bunch of, I'm not going to get into that. We could be here for hours.
Yeah.
If you want to know more about it, look up trance on Wikipedia. And you
Okay,
can find
do a
all the
little research.
subgenres from there.
How long have you been doing that now?
I've been there almost 20 years.
Good lord.
So I started when I was 3. And
Seriously, 20 years?
almost.
Wow, Jesus.
That's
Yeah.
amazing.
So was that like the very, very beginning entry level for the station, or was that like kind of when did they come around?
I just started DJing in some of the nightclubs, and I met a guy, DJ Manic. Shout out to DJ Manic. He's in Kodiak, Alaska now on the radio up there. But
Woot woot.
I came into a nightclub that I got a phone call to come in and work, and I showed up and he was DJing with another guy from Cube 93. They were there at the time.
This was the vinyl days.
This was the vinyl days,
Pre-Serato.
definitely. It was Pure 70. I would believe it was like 1998, I guess. Oh, yeah.
Well, I started in 96, so and I think I'm at 21 years or something like that. I don't know. I can't do math right now.
Yeah,
But,
me
yeah.
neither. No hard math.
So anyways,
But
98.
so yeah, I walk in there and him and this other guy are DJing, and I knew who they were, but I didn't know them personally. And I walk in with all my records, and they're like, "What the hell are you doing?" I'm like, "Oh, I'm supposed to be working." They told me I started at like 11:30.
Was it like one of those double booked situations?
Well, they were the residents there, and they were getting fired, and they didn't know. And I didn't know that they were there, and so the guy's
This
like,
happens a lot. to
"Yeah."
me.
The guy's like, "What are you doing?" And I'm like, "Oh, I go on at 11:30." He's like, "No, you don't." I go, "I don't know." So I go and grab the manager, who I'd never met. I'd only talked to on the phone. And I bring her over, and I'm like, "Okay, so what's the deal?" And she goes, "Oh, yeah, by the way, you guys don't work here anymore after tonight. So what does this guy do? I don't have any records out, anything yet." He stops the music, packed nightclub, about just before 11:30. And fuck it, I quit. And he stops the music and just starts packing up his stuff.
Dude.
And the manager's like, "You better get on, like, right now." And I'm like, "Hold on." So I start playing, and then he stands back behind me and starts going, "Nope, that's a bad mix. Nope, that's horrible."
Just
And
in your head the whole night.
And
just
I'm
trying to-
already shaking because I'm in the night. I'd been doing
You're
it.
in a new venue.
Yeah,
You've
and
never
I-
played there before, and the
and
guy's
it was
giving
back.
you shit.
It was one of the biggest clubs in Seattle at the time.
Was it DV?
No, it was Pier 70.
Okay, I
It's
don't-
where they ended up having Real World was in the same
Is that the
building
one
with
that
them.
was right off a ferry terminal kind of
down,
yeah.
way down, right at the end, right where that sculpture park is. It's right
So
next to that.
when I was in high school, I think I came there a few times. We would come check out random clubs, but we took a ferry to one. I don't remember
That was
getting there, or
probably
whatever.
it.
And so that was probably it. Yeah.
And so anyway, he sits back there, and I finally turn around. I'm like, "Yo, dude, you need to knock it off, man. You're on my head." And he goes, "Let me just show you," because I didn't really know that much. He goes, "Let me show you a few things." And he sat there and hung out, and we ended up becoming really good friends, and we're still really good friends to this day.
So
So he brought me in to C89 he had the Nocturnal Transmission show.
okay,
And he had been doing it for quite some time, probably 5 years or so. And then he wanted me to be his producer, which sounded really cool, being a producer of the
Yeah.
show. But really, all he wanted me to do was
it was
like,
all the grunt work. All
yeah,
the,
like he always wanted me to like grab the Stranger magazine, the newspaper,
Yeah.
and like go through the I saw you and circle like the good ones, and that was like his his show
Part
prep.
of his segment
His show
on the
prep
show.
was me. Yeah, and that's like what he would talk about, because he was on Cube also, but he was doing overnights, and he always wanted to be like a morning show guy. So he
Yeah.
was like he's trying to like use this as his outlet over like trance and dance music.
Which isn't in the same kind of.
No, everyone
ballpark.
is like, just play the music and shut the hell up. We don't care. We can go get our own free Stranger magazine. So anyway, he moved to Egypt to go DJ. The owner of one of the club's neighbors,
Yeah.
he owns a nightclub in Egypt.
Okay. So, and is that what Trent and neighbors and all that C89? Isn't Trent involved with C89?
Yeah, but
Okay.
he never went over to Egypt, but a couple of the other guys did. So he ends up moving to Egypt. So I took over the show, and I went from there. And then I was doing that, and then Victor Menego, who I'm in town for to go see or go to his wedding,
For the wedding, yeah.
he was doing the drive at 5, and I didn't really know him at the time. I just knew he was the guy on 3 turntables, which is like amazing.
Yeah, I've heard like stories where he just comes in and nails it every time.
Yeah,
Just
every
perfect.
time he was flipping through records so fast. I'm like, how do you even? I couldn't even comprehend. I mean, I get it now, but even with Serato, it's a lot easier. But
Yeah, but
So anyway,
yeah.
he calls me and he goes, "Hey, you're doing this nocturnal transmission." I'd only been doing it for maybe 6 months. And he goes, "How do you feel about doing the drive at 5?" Because he was doing it 5 days a week. And then I said, "Sure, I'll do it Tuesdays and Thursdays." And I did that for years. Also
so did the drive at 5 Tuesdays and Thursdays, and nocturnal transmission
on Wednesday,
night.
and then that's how I got to hook up with Kiss FM.
How long were you at Kiss?
Like 15 years. Well, I'm still there technically. I mean, we're not Kiss anymore. We're Power 93.
Yeah.
So
I'm actually doing a mix for them next week.
nice.
I think, yeah.
Nice. Didn't you do one a couple weeks ago?
Yeah, a little while. He's hit me up a few times to do one. So
Nice.
it's I love it. Just kind of gives
good
me
to-
some content and
Yeah.
makes me stay current.
That's
So-
the reason why I still do it, because it keeps me current. It keeps me so I know what the current hits are.
It helps out a lot because a lot of them I wouldn't I wouldn't go and search that music out, but the fact that it's a
When you can
power
see the
track,
radio
yeah,
station is playing
and
it
it's on
125 times a
rotations,
week, you know that it's got to be
you might
fairly
as well
big.
start doing it. So
Either that or somebody's getting paid really well. And I'm not getting a cut of that, so I. But
I guess let's go back pre DJ days. Hey, you're sending me a message, Ryan. Oh yeah. Good call.
So anyway, we all right. Sorry, that's not a very solemn mood to go into news.
That's actually hilarious.
I was trying to on the sly send Mike a couple notes. I don't know for sure that noise was recorded or not.
Yeah, we got some dings in our headphones, but it probably is fine.
Yeah, it may not be in the actual track.
So-
Anyway, I was trying to send Mike a little heads up. He pulled up our news story, but it was for the wrong story. So anyway, anyway, if we
I was going to pre DJ days. So you played baseball in high school.
Yep.
And you moved around a lot, didn't you? Or
No, I was
Not
in
really?
Ballard.
you were in Ballard, and then you went up to Veranda Beach area, or
No, just my dad lives up there now.
oh, okay.
But no, I went to Bremerton and played over at Olympic College for a year, and then I went to Shoreline Community College and played there for a year. And I wasn't quite good enough to go anywhere after that. So we don't need to bring that up.
Okay, never mind.
No, but baseball is my passion, though.
Well,
I can't play it. I'm way too fat now, but
You're watching every single game. You're
I
like-
watch every Mariners game. I don't think there was a game I missed this year.
Really?
I mean,
That's
at least caught part of it.
Wow. I think I might have saw 2.
I went to about, I don't know. I went to maybe 15, 20 games this year. I try to go, but it's hard. I got to go. I can only go on like
You get the season tickets
Sunday,
though, right?
Monday. I don't have season tickets.
So you just buy them when you want to go, and just
Yeah,
they're that
you
available.
can get some pretty good deals. Or you working in the industry, a lot of beer
lot of
reps,
people that-
a lot
yeah.
of beer reps and stuff. Especially if they know you're a fan, they're quick to give them to you instead of some like
Rando,
punk
yeah.
barback,
Yeah.
that's got a mohawk and doesn't really care. He just
He's
wants to
been
go to the
around
beer. He just wants to go to the beer garden,
So,
But no, baseball is where it's at. And Mariners will go to the playoffs next year. I've been saying that every year since 2001, but they will.
just get the tattoo one year and see what happens.
Oh, jeez.
So
Sweet. Well, hey, so I've got to get into a little story. I started to tell you before the show, but I got to explain to you what's going on. So, how long's it been now? About a month ago, we had this guy Anderson Blue on the show.
yeah, the guy that does the artwork.
He's
the prints.
art prints.
listened to that. I listened to that.
He's a really interesting guy, great artist. He just finished up his tour, I think. So shout out to Anderson. So, however, as I mentioned to Anderson, shortly thereafter, I have fallen into being a sneakerhead.
I give you a rash of shit for it too, because all of a sudden you're
All of a sudden it's like, all of a
So
sudden
expensive.
I've been getting 2-3 pairs a week.
Well,
It's like game on now.
Wow.
And so
a lot of the DJs in Seattle.
Oh,
are
they
about
almost
it.
all of them
Yeah,
are.
and I mean, like I get it a
Dude,
little
you
bit.
saw me wearing my $29.99 Chuck Taylors.
I've been wearing the same.
That's still
pair
the
of
best
Adidas.
shoe.
Yeah,
I mean, I have a lot of new shoes, but that's still the best shoe, the Chuck Taylor. So, but anyway, so because of Anderson, his whole thing is he does these art prints and stuff with Michael Jordan and stuff like that. But they're always wearing the latest sneakers, whatever the new sneaker is. So, because of his influence, I started buying up sneakers, and the latest one I was trying to get was called the damn it, I'm gonna mess up. Kevin Durant.
Yeah.
Is that a guy?
KD.
Yeah, the KD. Kevin Durant. These are called the Red Velvet. Ooh ah. And so I'm wearing them
They
today.
look like
so
you're
so I might
walking on
just
a
take
cloud or
glance. That's
something.
right.
Yeah.
They look delicious. Anyway, so I ordered these things a couple weeks ago, like around about the time they came out, and I overnighted them, and I was all excited to get them. And so I get notification from Nike saying, "Hey, your shoes have shown up." I get home, they're nowhere to be seen. I'm looking everywhere. I'm turning over tables trying to find my goddamn shoes, and they're nowhere.
So one thing I don't understand is where you live, they have the lock boxes where they put
right.
packages, right?
So, but this guy did not use the lockbox, and he did not take it in and have it give it to the front
It's
desk.
in his truck. I know where they are at.
Yeah, right. And so, I mean, there were people that could have signed for it or whatever. I mean, there was no signature required though, so he just left it on my door, which was stupid. So anyway, presumably those were stolen or whatever. They went away. For some reason they weren't there. So I get on the horn with Nike right away, and I'm like, "Hey, FedEx says it's delivered, but it's not here." And so the FedEx people and everybody start into this investigation. And in the meantime, Nike says, "Hey, we're going to send you another batch. You'll get another pair of shoes on the way. And if those other ones show up, just let us know. We'll take them back or whatever." And they started an investigation. Well, they never did find anything. They never found the shoes or whatever. So they sent out another pair. So yesterday, I get home, or I get the same notification, "Hey, your shoes are here." So I take off and I hurry home this time because I was like, I don't want to gamble on it again. So they were dropped off at like 10 o'clock, and I was booking at home. And by the time I get there, same thing. They're
It
not
happened
there.
twice.
Second time.
It's your neighbor.
Yeah, well, that's what I said. I mean, we've only got like 2 neighbors, and so I was like, if you see either one of them wearing red shoes, they're mine. I mean, not everyone has these shoes, so I was like, it's going to be pretty unique if my next door neighbor has a pair too.
Now Nike thinks you're running a scam here.
Yeah, right. So they're and luckily they've been really cool with me. But anyway, so I get home, and FedEx tracking said the same thing. "Hey, they're on your doorstep." It's like, no, they're not. And so I called Nike this time. Last time I just did an email chat or whatever, and I talked to the rep. And, I wish I could remember her name. Oh, her name was Unique.
What? Okay.
Not like a unique name, but her name was Unique.
Wow.
And so anyway, that caused some confusion. But anyway, she was great, super helpful. And we started talking, and she's like, "Well, hey, we need to get, FedEx on the horn. We'll start another trace. We'll see what's going on." And keep in mind, this is just, minutes after it was supposed to have been delivered, right? So we get on the horn. This was an interesting thing that I was surprised that Nike didn't have figured out. But in order to get FedEx on the phone for a 3-way call, I had to call them in on my phone and then allow the Nike rep to stay on the line, which I sort of feel like Nike ought to have that figured out, right? I mean, they got enough dough. I think they should have it figured out. But anyway, they did not. So I looped in FedEx, and Unique did all the chatting with FedEx for me. And basically, came to the solution that, well, they're missing whatever. We'll send you another pair, a third pair, and and we'll start an investigation.
Did they make it where they have to sign for it this time?
No.
I mean, that would...
Yeah, right.
Would make the most sense.
Yeah, right. Or put them in the locker,
box, yeah.
or leave them at the front desk,
Yeah.
or
Plenty of options.
yeah. I mean, we have all these options so that they don't have to just leave expensive things out of my porch. So, a little while later, like, you know, we got on the horn with FedEx right away. They started looking. He's like, hey, I'm going to call the driver. I'll find out right where he put it. A little while later, about 4 o'clock in the afternoon, I get a text that says, hey, you've got a package in your locker. And miraculously, the shoe box that had these in it was stuffed in that locker, even though FedEx tracking still says it was left on my front porch. So what I was informed by a fellow sneakerhead from Salt Lake who's familiar with this process, he says what happens is FedEx or whoever's your delivery driver, they can recognize the box. It doesn't say Nike on it, but it has some weird name like Bluehost or some kind of weird thing on it. It's got this striped tape, and it comes from Memphis, Tennessee.
They
know exactly what it is. Yeah, they deliver a million of them, so they know exactly what it is. So he says what happens is they gank a pair, and then you call Nike and you get your free pair. Right. And then he was trying to do it. Maybe it's a different driver or whatever, but somebody was walking off with these shoes again. And because we were on the spot, like before he got off shift, he was accountable for that package. Like, where's that package at?
So they asked him about it.
And so miraculously, it shows up a few hours later,
wow.
this time stuffed in a locker, and the box was all damaged and beat up. And, you know, this time it was stuffed in the locker. But the tracking info from FedEx doesn't say in your locker or whatever. It still says on my doorstep. So whoever was driving was like, oh, damn.
They
I got to hurry up and do that. And so, but I think it's because we were on it so fast. You know, because they were able to catch the driver while he was still driving. Yeah, they were like, hey, you dropped this off an hour ago. Where is it? And so anyway, miraculously that afternoon, my shoes showed up. So super stoked for my new KD red velvets.
Well, I'm glad you finally got them.
Yeah. So,
I mean, you look like you could jump a lot higher with those on.
Yeah, for sure. Right?
The whole extra 2 inches.
Yeah, no, I have to wear these because I've got so much extra padding for my tubby ass. So, yeah, no, somebody was like today, this guy was telling me, he's like, those are cool shoes, but, you know, I have a hard time. You know, I put, you know, they with the low tops, you know, when you're playing hoop and stuff. And I was like,
when's the last time
I love you assuming I'm playing hoop.
Yeah.
It was like, I had to just ask if Kevin Durant was a person. So that's how into hoop I am. And so anyway, but yeah, so case closed. I got my shoes. And the case of the missing shoes is still open. I hope those miraculously turn up also.
Well, watch your driver.
And then I won't be talking to Nike. I'll be putting those things on StockX or something.
There you go.
But anyway, so that's the shoe debacle. And for friends and family who were worried, now you know I've got my shoes back.
Good to know.
Yep.
So anyways.
And again, thanks, Anderson. My wife's pissed. Everybody's angry at me for this newfound shoe hobby. But
so in the news this week, you know, segueing from shoes to Vegas, not
people in Vegas wear shoes. Yeah. They can relate.
This kind of hits home, man. I'm kind of bummed.
Yeah, I mean, we barely have to give any kind of preface because I mean, I feel like everybody knows by now. But basically, we just had a shooting in Vegas. I think the last number I heard was 59 dead. 600 injured or something. I mean, massive numbers.
And it was at a country concert.
Yeah, at a country concert.
Yeah.
Which is, I don't know.
So,
what was it called? Route
61, 91.
Route 91,
something
yeah.
Harvest Festival, yeah.
Yeah.
We have a lot of friends in Vegas.
Yeah.
And the instant it happened, I got hundreds of notifications that so-and-so safe, so-and-so safe.
Yeah,
and I didn't, realize that we knew that many people that actually worked there on a consistent basis.
Yeah, and there was a lot of people there. I don't know if it was just for the show or if it was for
something
a big weekend down there.
Yeah.
But, I think there was some.
Well, I know they do a lot of stuff. Like in that particular complex, they do a lot of things. They were doing all the, like, press day for, like, the Conor McGregor fight was there. Press for the fight the following weekend. The Triple G fight was there also. And then, like, I think the iHeart Music Festival was there, like, last week or something.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, so, and what's the other one?
Well, it holds
Life is Beautiful
22,000 people.
Right.
Was at that show, and I don't know if that was sold out or whatnot, but that's a lot of people in a trapped space.
Yeah.
It's mind-boggling that stuff like this actually.
Yeah, it's crazy. And I mean, for us in Salt Lake, we're actually recording out of Pocatello today. But in Salt Lake, I mean, we're fairly near Vegas. I mean, it's 5 or 6 hours by car still, but I mean, Vegas is the next big city. You know, so there are a lot of people that travel down from Salt Lake, you know, just for weekends and stuff like that. And we do that too. And actually, we had talked about going down this weekend, not for a country music festival, but
just to take Borja and show him
well,
Vegas.
our friends Mario and Alberto, a couple other Spaniards, they're twins, but their birthday is on the 4th. And so we were going to go down there, and I don't know who the DJ in residence is, but we're going to go catch, you know, Calvin Harris or whoever's there. And go do that for the weekend. And we ended up just not being able to get it together. I'm leaving on a trip this next week and stuff. And so we couldn't work it out. So, but I mean, it turns out, you know, thankfully we didn't go.
Yeah. So I just, you know, I was shocked that many people that I have connections to, not necessarily through, you know, like personal, like I don't know DeVille and those guys,
Right.
but you know, like they're
just people in their periphery.
They're in the industry and they make edits, and you know, like Club Killers and those guys, they're based out of Vegas, and it just was weird to see something like that hit so close to home, and you know,
well, and Vegas is such a transient city too, you know, as they're talking about the people who are killed and stuff. I mean, they're not from Vegas, you know. I mean, people are from all over the place, and you know, it's such an interesting place because it's this melting pot of people. And I actually, you know, I work in advertising, and I was looking at an agency. They have an office in Salt Lake. They're called R&R Partners. They are an agency I've done a little work with, but they're Vegas based, and they're one of their main accounts is like the Vegas account. The one that did
Vegas,
the one that was what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas, like for the corporate Vegas.
Right.
Anyway, that was a long explanation for that. But anyway, they created a campaign for this to sort of thank everybody, and I mean, it's kind of, I don't know, it's low hanging fruit. Like, it was an obvious thing to come up with. But what I liked about it is they made the comment, you know, for all the things we've done for you, and you can look up what it is, but it's basically saying, you know, you were here for, you know, you had all your good times here, you know, now thanks for helping us, because, you know, I guess they've had lines around the block, you know, for giving blood and dropping off food and stuff like that.
They've been doing it in Seattle too, a lot of places. I have friends that were lining up the next day.
Yeah, and in fact, I heard that some of the blood places were saying, "Hey, we can't take anymore," or, you know, stop dropping food because we can't do anything with it, you know, and stuff like that, because there was such an outpouring of stuff, which I thought was kind of surprising or really interesting, just given the sort of transient nature of Vegas. You know, people kind of come in for the weekend and they're out. But people really did come together and sort of start, you know, doing all they could to help out Las Vegas. And so I thought this campaign was really clever.
Well, nobody wants the adults don't want the Disneyland for them to go away.
Yeah, no joke.
I mean, they're ready. I saw the Celine Dion her show the other night. Don't ask me why I know anything about Celine Dion.
You follow her Twitter?
It was one of those.
What kind of bars do you DJ at?
Canadian bars. No, she was, I was like, it was on in the background, like Entertainment Tonight or something. She donated all of her proceeds from her show. It must have been Tuesday night to the whole
efforts.
Yeah, efforts. And I saw, like, when it first happened, I saw on Facebook, like, only hours later, somebody had started a GoFundMe page. It was like this guy, he put in 10 G's right off the bat. And when I saw it, it had been, I don't know, 5 hours, and it was already just astronomical how much it was.
Yeah, no, it's crazy. Well, and I thought it was funny. I hate this little thing that happens around these events. So recently there was a thing, not in Vegas, but there was some, I should know my news. We're the worst at news. Yeah. But Mark Zuckerberg from Facebook chipped in, like, he gave $5 million to some group, right? And the first thing out of everyone's mouth is, oh, well, it's not enough. You know, I mean, he has so much money, you know, and he only gave $5 million. What a cheap ass, you know? And so same thing happened with Vegas is, if I've got my facts semi straight, the Raiders, you know, cause they're moving there next year, chipped in $50,000 to this GoFundMe.
Okay.
And everybody's up in arms because $50,000, what's $50,000 to the Raiders?
Right.
You know? And it's just like, I mean, come on, be stoked for the charity in just whatever form it comes.
No doubt.
Just because they have more money. I mean, really, how does money help this situation anyway? I mean, this is, you know, blood and resources and things like that for those injured and stuff. But I mean, what are you repairing or rebuilding or whatever? You know, I mean, it's awesome people are contributing, but it's like, be so stoked that somebody gave $50,000.
Yeah, exactly.
It doesn't matter what they have. Stop counting their money. You know, I mean, it was still a great gesture of them, and, you know, and obviously they're going to be there next year. So, I mean, it's kind of hometown or going to be hometown for those guys.
That actually is kind of an interesting thing, though. It's like Raiders, in Vegas, they're going to draw 90% of their crowd is going to be tourists.
Oh, yeah.
It's going to be interesting to see what happens, actually, because I think it's sort of the same thing that's happened with L.A. in the past when they've had teams, because L.A. is full of people not from L.A. Everybody that comes there has their loyalties to home or whatever, so you can go to L.A. and find like a sports bar for every club. Every team, any team you support, you can go, and that's because everybody comes there, chasing their star or whatever. And so they don't have the local base, and I'm curious if it happens like that in Vegas too, where it's, obviously you'll get people traveling from LA, from Salt Lake. I mean, the same people who are tourists, this is one more thing to come see. But in terms of having like a, home crowd, I'm curious what that looks like.
Yeah. It'll be interesting to see the first year. Do they have the stadium built?
I don't think so.
Yeah, I saw a cool. It's like an awesome design.
Oh yeah, I'm sure it'll be sweet.
I get my news off of that TV show Ballers. That's all. I and now they're not going to bring it there, so I don't know.
Oh damn it!
Yeah. But speaking of like hometown, Seattle's kind of the same way. Seahawks is one thing, and they've obviously gotten a way bigger fan base now that they've gone to the Super Bowl and all that stuff, but. There's so many people from outside of Seattle that live in Seattle now because of Amazon.
Tech and Amazon and Google and all that.
If you go to a Mariners game, there's like most of the time you go there, you'll see at least half of the people there from rooting on the other team. It doesn't matter. Especially like teams like Boston and New York, obviously, because those are fan favorites. Yeah. But like Toronto, because we're the closest to like Vancouver, they come down, they take over the stadium.
Really? Toronto does?
Oh my gosh.
Wow.
There's more Toronto fans in there than they sell out. Those tickets, that stadium sold out for the Toronto series every time. And it's 90%, not 90, but I'd say
huge proportion Canadian.
It's more. It's at least over 60%, I swear.
We're going to have to put in a word to Trump, see if he'll build a wall on that side too. Keep all those Canadians
we have a Canadian pitcher. And so they start like when Felix
they're
pitches,
rooting for them too.
What? No. So when Felix pitches, they have a thing called the King's Court, where all these people come and they get the yellow T-shirt and you sit in the corner. Well, now whenever the guy, why am I drawing a blank right now on his name?
I thought you were a fan.
I am. I just. Baseball season's over officially for me. Paxton. When he pitches, is it Paxton? No, I'm drawing a blank. They started their own thing. It's called like the maple leaf or something, the maple court. I don't know what they call it.
The maple bar.
The maple. They sit up in this one section and they try and get their own thing going.
It's Paxton.
Yeah, Paxton. Yeah.
There we go.
The Maple Grove.
What's it called?
The Maple Grove.
Look up what it's Maple something.
Yeah, fans created the Maple Grove.
Is that what it's called?
Yeah.
Yeah, Maple Grove. So they all sit up in this out in the left field, and they all wear their Canadian flags and everything,
swag and all that stuff. Drinking maple syrup.
There's only like probably like 50 of them, but still, it's cool.
Well, it's just a little grove. It'll grow.
It's not a grove.
So anyway, circling back around. Anyway, there's a lot of stuff going on in Vegas. Obviously we're as big a fake news spreading organization as any. But shouts out to Vegas friends and family. I have some family down there and stuff, so it's
Yeah, definitely. Also, we don't want to forget about Puerto Rico and all that stuff too.
Yeah, for sure.
That's pretty gnarly.
Yeah, I was watching some stuff on the news about Puerto Rico this morning, and I guess it's just still madness. And it's weeks later now, and it's still just they're barely getting roads cleared and things.
That guy Matt that did a car wash the other time is doing another car wash for Puerto Rico. So shout out to Matt.
Nice.
Matt, the car wash guy. If we keep having these kind of events, he's going to just be in business full time.
Yeah.
Might as well open a car wash.
Keep that parking lot busy.
Tell him not to throw any paper towels out.
That was good. Anyways, let's focus and get back to Tamm
transition.
Here.
Anyway, we love you, Vegas. Everybody, take care, stay strong.
Yeah. So
and don't be afraid.
Anyways, where did we leave off with you? You were we know you're on Power 93 now. You were on Kiss FM for a long time.
Yeah, and then it got sold. Or not sold.
Change formats.
The format flipped, and I was thinking of before when it was CBS forever. It's okay, Pop.
Sorry, we have a studio dog today. The modern day equivalent of a Sublime's Lou dog.
Yeah.
Yeah, called Slasher.
Yeah, we have Slasher in the studio today.
We were CBS, and then we got traded to Clear Channel, which turned into iHeartMedia.
So you're part of the iHeart network now.
Yes.
Yeah.
I have been for a couple of years
stations.
now.
Yeah.
And
Was that before the switch over to Power?
Yeah.
Okay. Because Cube back in the day, man, that has some history in Seattle.
Oh, Cube was huge.
And it's weird to be on that same call, 93.3.
Yeah.
And not be Cube, I
Well,
mean,
and a
T-Man
lot of-
in the morning and all that stuff. I mean, that was huge when I was growing up.
A lot of people still think it's Cube.
Really?
Yeah. The attention span on people is so low.
Yeah.
They've been listening to the station for a decade and still calling it Cube.
Yeah, well, so we were Kiss 106.1 forever, and it turned to Kiss FM, 6 years ago, and people still call it Kiss. It's still on flyers. Well, when I was still there, and be like flyer or something, and be like Kiss 106.1 with my name on it. I'm like,
No,
come on,
we're
man.
not even there anymore.
And then they'll put the logo on there, and the logo doesn't even say 106.1. But people still just think of it as Kiss 106.1, just like they think of 93.3 as Cube 93.
Yeah.
That's funny.
And I saw Eric Powers. You see Eric Powers went to, he used to do the afternoons forever at Cube. And he is now afternoons at Hot 103.7.
Oh, really?
So I think after he was let go a year ago, I think he probably had a non-disclosure for a year maybe.
Yeah.
Where he couldn't work in the
Non-compete
market.
kind of thing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
non-compete in the market. And as soon as that was up, now he's doing
103.7.
103.7. And then Sir Mix-a-Lot's doing the morning show.
Really? That's awesome.
That's awesome.
Man,
Yeah,
I love that station. I don't know if I'm supposed to say that, but it's just like, it's all the stuff that when I started DJing, it's all the Nelly and all
The
that.
throwbacks. Well, Movin' was like that when they first came out.
Yeah, and
Movin'
it didn't
did
work.
an old. Yeah, I know.
I know. I worked on
So-
the Moving in San Francisco. I was there that's when I left the Drive at 5 at C89, I was doing Moving in
for
San
a little
Francisco
while down there.
for about a year, I guess. And it was all throwbacks, and it's not really a format. It's just, I don't know how well it's
There's
working.
only so many bangers that were hot back in the day. That
So you
can
have to kind of rotate
through.
them out, yeah. And I don't know how. I haven't looked at the ratings lately, and I don't know if it's working at 103.7. But I don't care. I listen.
Yeah. Well, it's we're old.
Right.
We like it.
I mean, I love me some Ed Sheeran, but
Shape of Me ain't cutting
I'll
it.
take some Ja Rule over him any day.
Ooh, Ja Rule's coming through Salt Lake here pretty quick.
Oh, really?
Nice.
Yeah,
With Nelly?
No, with
okay.
with Ashanti.
Oh yeah, he's
Just like
coming,
old
they're coming to
times.
Seattle too. They already came.
Yeah, it's got to
2
be coming
years
right
ago?
up. Yeah.
I think it was 2 years ago. They were at Showbox.
Yeah, I think you're right. I remember hearing about that one.
Yeah, I wanted to go, but it was like on a night I had to work.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I got to tell my one Sir Mix-a-Lot story. I don't have a ton of those, but so he played in Ogden, Utah. God, it's maybe been a couple years ago now, and a little club there. And went up, saw him play, because I was just nostalgic. I wanted to hear all the old stuff, Swass and all that kind of stuff. And so I go out and I catch a show, and it's a decent crowd, but it's not packed house or anything. It's easy enough. So when it's done, my goal was to get out and meet him. Get out, catch the guy, get a selfie or something with him, right? And
Catch him before the drive-through.
yeah, right. Yeah. Well, yeah, no. First of all, if you don't know Sir Mix-a-Lot, look him up. Second of all, if you look him up, look now because he's
pretty big.
Yeah, he's 3 Sir Mix-a-Lots now. But but the man comes off stage, right? And I follow. I go outside and he's signing some autographs and stuff. So I go over and I just want to get my selfie with him. And I'm not too big a fanboy. I love him and stuff, but I was letting all the kind of more amped up people get to him first. And so I'm standing in line and we're working our way up to him. And I finally get up to him and he's like, you can tell he's kind of done. Like he's ready to split. And he's like, hey man, do you mind if I just get a quick selfie with you real fast? He's like, man, I got to wipe my ass, but if you want to come over and get a picture real quick, we'll go ahead and do it. and I was like, that was the best thing he could have said to me. And so anyway, I went over, I took my selfie, and presumably he went and wiped his ass. So anyway, but he's a big fella now. He was pretty sweaty, hot.
Wasn't he just in Pocatello like 2 weeks ago or something?
Oh, I don't know. He could have been.
I think he played at that new venue here.
Yeah, I think he came through with Naughty by Nature, actually. We were talking about it the other day because I was so bummed out. Mike and I went and saw Naughty by Nature in Park City. City
Vic
not too
opened
long
for
ago.
him.
Yeah,
Yeah.
a friend of theirs, this guy DJ Victor Menego, opened for him, and so we went up to see Vic, really, but sort of nostalgic for Naughty to also. So we stuck around for the Naughty show, and I mean, they basically took all the songs and squished it into a 3-minute medley, and then the rest of the show was a bunch of stuff you don't know, and I could not have been more bummed out.
Well, Authority Zero did that once to us
Yeah,
too. We
I
went to
hate
a
it
show
when
and they
people
just
do
do a
that.
mashup and get all their bangers out of the way, the ones that we know from back in
Right.
the day, and then play new stuff, and you don't know any of the new stuff.
Yeah, and
you know?
I mean, I get it if you're pushing a new album or something like that, but like Naughty by Nature has to know when people come to see Naughty
They
by
wanna hear
Nature,
hip-hop
it's not
hooray.
for the
They
new
wanna hear-
album.
Yeah.
Yeah, how long was
OPP.
their set?
Maybe
It was-
an hour and a half. We left
We
early.
left early. We were.
I mean, there was
we
plenty
were
of time. They could have
yeah.
busted a couple
So they
of
had
those
an
out.
8-minute mega mix or
Yeah, yeah.
medley.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And then
something
the
like that.
rest-
And it was literally everything from the first album. It was the Hip Hop Array. Well, he might have done Hip Hop Array. But anyway,
They probably did that one more than once.
Twice. Ended with
Open
it.
and close with it.
Open and close it. But I mean, for me, like, old school Naughty by Nature fan, like their first album's like my favorite thing in the world. And like the 4 tracks that are my favorite on it, they were all part of this medley. And I was like, okay, well, I saw everything I needed to see.
Let's
So-
get it. And we had to drive back anyway.
Yeah, so we got
it's
to
sad
get-
that we were trying to beat a crowd in Park City.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
See, it's almost better if they just have a show. I opened up for at the Tacoma Dome. I opened up for TLC, Nelly, and then the headliner was what's the Wahlberg?
Marky Mark and the Funky Bunch.
No, the other one.
Vibrations.
No, the
I was
boy
going to ask
band.
you again
The-
what kind
the
of
boy
club you've been
band,
working at.
Donnie Wahlberg.
Oh,
Don't-
was he Backstreet?
No,
Or NSYNC?
No.
Why am I man?
Which one was Wahlberg in?
I
I can't remember. I know which
The,
one. New Kids on the Block.
New Kids on the Block.
Oh,
New
yeah,
Kids.
yeah.
So hopefully you can edit that stuff out. And
No,
make it sound so
We're
stupid.
going to leave it in there.
No, it's all part of the
DJs,
process.
That's pretty bad. That I can't think of who it was.
Dude, it
anyway,
happens.
so what they did was obviously TLC was TL
Yeah.
Yeah.
and or no TC
Yeah.
and but anyway, so I just played music for open up for them for like an hour, and then they all went on, but they just did their bangers,
Their
for
songs.
20-minute set, and they're done.
Yeah.
And the turnover, like they wanted me to play music in between the set changes, and they're like, forget it, we're not even going to do that, we're just going to turn it over that fast, and they did.
Wow.
And they whipped it through, and then obviously,
Was this a Kiss event?
it was through who the big booking that do all the concerts.
Live Nation.
Live Nation.
Yeah.
But it was obviously the boy band was what everyone came to see.
Right.
New Kids. This was like 4 years ago.
Yeah, about
Yeah.
that, and that was. I mean, they played for.
Yeah, Mike was there to
They-
see New Kids.
No, my cousin was stoked. She drove like 4 hours to come up and see those
Oh
guys.
yeah, it was huge, and they played for a while, but everyone else just Nelly did. Boy, I don't know what 6 songs.
Yeah. 17 minutes of all the songs you like.
Did the show actually sell out pretty good, or was it?
Yeah, it was good.
I saw it AC/DC there about 8 years ago, and it didn't do too well.
Oh really?
Yeah, I was.
How big is the Tacoma Dome?
It's like bigger than Holt Arena, like
Yeah,
30,000
30,000
plus.
people.
Yeah, but the sound system's
It's
horrible.
horrible. It's just boomy and
Yeah.
it just sounds like crap.
What was I gonna say?
Something about.
Oh no! Did
love.
Angus have his little shorts on?
Yeah.
Did he really? He's like 80 years old.
Yeah, the problem is his inner thighs are all wrinkly now.
He's got duct tape holding his. Oh man!
No, who is it that's singing for them now? Brian Johnson, I think, is the guy that sings for them now. I guess he actually had to stop performing because I guess he races cars on the side, like vintage races or something on the side, and it had done so much hearing damage for him that they said
couldn't
if he
hear.
kept playing, he'd be deaf.
Wow.
So basically, he had to take a break from performing because of the noise. But it wasn't even the rock concerts; it was the race cars.
So speaking of that, Tamm is one of the guys that kind of turned me on to you don't have to have the monitor in the booth up blasting
Turn
the
it
entire
down.
time you're there.
Turn it down. I turn it off after every mix.
Yeah, and going up and kicking it with you in the booth a few times, I'm like, holy shit, this is nice. You can actually, you don't have to be deaf driving home and having
No.
your ears ring on the way home.
And if you
And-
notice, if you keep it on all night, you're constantly turning it up and up
Yeah,
and up.
because
and up.
your
By the end of the
ears
night,
keep
you got
going-
it.
yeah.
I walk into the DJ booth at clubs all the time, and I see the monitor, like the mixer's
All
off,
the
but
way
the
up.
monitor's all the way
Yeah.
up. Like, and same with headphones too.
Well, and in that booth specifically, just you have this 18-inch big ass speaker right in your
right
ear.
next to your head. Yeah.
But I mean it's good. I like playing there.
It's fun. I
Yeah.
like it.
Anyways,
Well, so let's go backwards just a little bit. I wanted to ask you, Tamm. Maybe Mike, you already know this, but for those of us who don't, how'd you get into the business? Like, how did you decide? Hey, DJing's what I want to do.
I was my older brother was a DJ at this club, and he wasn't like a DJ. But in the mid '90s, there was DJs, and then there was like entertainers where you were just
I
playing
have
CDs.
20 records, or like
Yeah, or they just played CDs and they just faded the songs out, but they were on the mic between every song. And when they played AC/DC, they jumped up on the speaker and played the air guitar. Kind of like a glorified karaoke host, I guess you could.
Yeah.
And he was one of those guys, and he did a really good job. He's a very charismatic with
just
a crowd,
people person. I
he
can't get
was
on the
like,
mic to
he
save my
did like
life.
stand up comedy and stuff like that. It was a great outlet for him, but he also liked to drink a lot. And I was 18, and they got me in there to do the lights. I couldn't leave the DJ booth, but I could do the lights all night.
I got a story about that, getting in underage kind of thing. But, yeah.
Yeah, so I'd be up there doing the lights all night, and I used to have to actually play VHS tapes of videos. Tried to
The shadow dancers.
no, like the song. Like he would tell me what song he's gonna play, and then I would try and four track. You remember the forehead VCRs? Where
Yeah,
you
where you
kind
can
of like
scroll ahead a little bit.
Yeah. So I'd try and line them up, and I got sick of that. So what we used to do after that was we'd go home and we'd play Tecmo Bowl, and I would remember that video.
Yeah.
Or like RBI baseball. We would play those, and we would just we would record it.
You playing the games, so
Just
people
us
could watch
playing
you play.
each other.
That's awesome.
And then we would just put that on the screens all night.
Dude, that'd be fun to do. Just
Yeah, it was
do
cool.
an old NES night kind of thing. And
It
just
was
record
current
it
at
all.
the time, though. That was,
Dude.
and
Well, dude, now there's people making whole careers doing that stuff, playing video games on YouTube and stuff like that.
yeah.
Oh, dude, there's YouTube channels that get millions and millions. My buddy's kids watch them. Just watching a guy play a video game and figure out all the.
I
tricks
can't
and
even
stuff.
figure out how to play it on my own. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm over that. But
So he would go and he'd get pretty tossed, and then he'd have girls up in the booth, and then he'd leave the booth. I'll be back if the song ends. Just hit play on the next one. So I started doing that, and I was like, this is pretty cool. So then I would go in there, and they kind of had me doing like maintenance on like the lights and stuff like that. And
Which venue was this?
it was called Sharky's down in
Sharky's.
Ballard.
Didn't that just recently close?
No, it's been about 10 years.
Oh,
The city wasn't hearing it. Ballard wasn't hearing it.
yeah.
So I would go in there during the day before they opened to clean lights and stuff like that. And then the DJ, the good DJ that was there, because my brother did Friday and this guy did Saturday. He would leave all his records there till the next week or whatever.
Yeah,
So
so
I
I
would-
a bitch to haul them in and out.
Yeah. So I would go through all his records and I'd start playing them while like the bartenders are setting up the bar and they're like, oh, that sounded pretty good. I'm like, yeah.
Do we know the guy that was there?
His name was Eddie C. He's been gone for a
Yeah, I
long
don't
time. He's been out of the game. He was an old Cube guy, I think. Maybe he did like when they did like mix show weekends and stuff like that. He would do it, but yeah, he was. He's kind of an asshole. But
Do you
We
find
got
out
into-
you were using it?
No. He would just get mad when I didn't put the right colors on for the right song. He'd be like, "This is Prince Erotic City, fucker! I told you I want purple lights." And I'm like, "Dude, come
the
on,
color
man."
code wasn't right.
Yeah, like it was gonna make or break his night.
Well, I
Yeah.
used to do that with my CDs. I had because when I started, I didn't mix. I didn't do anything,
Right.
like what we do now. But I had the big sleeves of CDs, and I would go through with highlighters, and yellow would be one thing, red would be another thing, blue would be like a slow dance or whatever, and then that way I could flip through and be, oh shit, there's blue, and then I could visually see, and then I could decide if I wanted to play that for whatever. But I'm sure that's probably kind of what he was doing too. But
Yeah, he was. Yeah,
So if he was color coordinating the light show and his production help was not
Was
living
that
up
what he
to
was
it.
bitching about? Was the color of the lights?
color the lights.
Oh,
like when he
shit.
play a certain song. Like I was saying, just the one that comes to mind is when he would play Erotic City. He wanted purple and green lights, And there were those little track ones that moved. There'd be like a row of them of like
like the
5
little
or 6 of them.
scanner,
and they would just go up, down.
so
like
nothing
that.
crazy.
No.
Yeah.
And but you could change. They had one of those touchpad light boards where
Yeah.
you could change all the colors and do all this different stuff. And he would want it dark, and he would want fog, and he would want purple.
So he's trying to go for the scene, the
right, and that's what I'm saying.
vibe.
The place is packed, and he's getting mad over the lights. I mean, I'm kind of anal like that too. I'd probably like if it was somebody like
You know what you're anal about? Dust on your needles and records, and that goes back because your vinyl days.
Yeah.
Me, like I started on vinyl with Serato, so I mean, if I get a shitty little tone, it's not gonna fuck it up like it would with a record. But I remember you came in and jumped on after me. He's like, "Do you ever clean this thing?
Yeah.
Give me shit."
I wiped my friend Anshul. He was giving me shit when I was DJing this Bollywood party because I pulled my wife beater from underneath my t-shirt and I was wiping the record down. And he's like, "That's it. I've seen it all. I've seen it all." I'm like, "What?" I go, "That's what you do." And he goes, "Dude, they make a cloth that you can." I'm like, "What the hell? Who's got the cloth?"
Yeah. I've seen a few guys will carry the toothbrushes or the actual, to clean
for the needle?
for the
Yeah.
needle, but
Yeah.
or the brush, it's like anyone pulls out a brush with that, you're like, what?
Yeah, or like that's. I mean, I guess it's good to clean the records with the spray and the little wipe pad thing. I'm like,
Yeah.
that's one more thing.
Jeff
for me
used to carry that around with him all the time. I'd always see him having that little pad that you get with the spray. But
Dude, I always felt like that spray was just burning into my record. I don't know. It's like a hairspray. I don't know, but it does not stick. It's a
don't know.
cleaner.
see,
I use the wife beater. It works great. Just like when you're a kid, it was your mom pulls out the old wife beaters or the old socks to clean the kitchen table
as a rag. Yeah,
Yeah, it's like that's the best thing you
what you
can
do.
use. It's soft.
So, okay, so we got you started. Your brother got you into it.
Yeah, and then I just I started doing it, and then I was 20. I just turned 20, and I had a fake ID, and I went into this club, and my older brother's friends were the promoters, and they're like, "Hey, you're 21?" Yeah, totally, man. Just turned 21. They're like, "Cool," and they're like, "I heard you've been like DJing, messing around with it." And I'm like, "Yeah," and they're like, "Do you want a job?" And I said, "Sure," because they had the DJ was one of the promoters. He had 2 home CD players, and all he did was play.
That sounds like
He had the Michael Jackson
gig I ever did.
He had the Michael Jackson's greatest hits on one CD, and the other one he had a disco funk compilation. And he would play one Michael Jackson song, next song off the disco funk thing, another Michael Jackson song. You just go back and forth like that. And I was like, "Yeah, this is pretty brutal." So they're like, "We'll give you $50." I was like, "What? Hell yeah!"
That's a lot of money back in the day.
Yeah, so I had to bring in my turntables and all my records, but I did it and my mixer and everything.
This
Actually, no,
is
they
like
had a mixer.
98, 97-ish.
90, 99, 98, something like that. And so I started DJing there, and then the night was super dead at the time, and they wanted only disco. So I went out and bought every Wicked Mix classic collection, and I played disco for almost a year, and it not even that long. It started picking up, and then I got the phone call from that other club, that Pier 70, and they said, "Hey, we heard you're killing it over there on Friday nights. We want you
get
on
the
Saturday."
night busy and they want you over here.
Yeah, on Saturday. So I was like, no problem. And then we got the night bigger on Fridays, and then they opened a basement. They had a basement in there, a place called Rupert's, and that's actually where I met Victor at.
I've heard about this place.
Yeah, it was in Pioneer Square. It's been nothing for a long time.
Yeah.
But they opened up the downstairs. They remodeled it, and then I had met this guy, DJ Brett Michaels.
He's still in it.
Yeah, well, he's kind of doing it still a little bit. But I met him at a wedding. He wasn't DJing it. He was my girlfriend's at the time, her older sister's ex-boyfriend, and he was there. And she goes, "I went to the DJ Quick concert with this guy when I was like 15." I was like, "Oh, that's cool." I was like, "Why is he taking 15-year-olds?" Because he's a little bit older, but it was with her sister too, whatever. So I'm like, she goes, "You got to meet him. He's a DJ," and he was DJing same thing. He started on tapes.
Yeah.
So doing
My buddy Ray started on tapes. He said it was a bitch because you'd have to cue it in your headphones, And then when you're getting ready to hit play, you have to pull the tape out, roll it back
with
like
a pencil.
times, and
with
then
the
put it
pencil.
back in so it starts at the right time.
Yep.
And I mean, he would get a tape going, and then he had a vinyl, like a turntable next to it, and he would beat match the turntable, and then he'd get a tape, and he'd try and beat match with the tape.
Dude.
It was just like, you're crazy.
Yeah.
Well, we should probably say for our younger listener, so a tape is we've talked about tapes and CDs. You got any 8-track stories around here? We got vinyl. We got everything else. Every other format.
Well, the first dance I ever did, I had his dad owned a DJ company in Tacoma, and that's how I met him, and how I kind of got into DJing was through that. But his dad took like all the party tracks that were big, like Macarena and all that shit, and made tapes for me. So I had like 4 or 5 tapes with all the songs.
Man, when the Macarena came out, there were CDs available at that time.
There were, but I didn't have money to buy CD players. And then
I see.
I was like 14.
You out there with a boombox with a microphone next to it, recording songs off the radio.
The first gig I ever did, I brought my car stereo speakers. I had subwoofers from my car, and I brought those in and thought I was cool.
Wow,
it was bad.
Yeah, I never went that ghetto.
Yeah, I was that ghetto.
You started from the bottom now.
Yeah, started at the bottom, now just marginally more than the bottom.
Marginally better than the bottom.
Just above.
Just barely. Treading water.
So I got Brett. I met Brett at this wedding, and I knew he was into DJing. So I called him up. I go, "Hey man, you want a job?" He's like, "Sure." So then he started DJing downstairs, and that night just blew up. I mean, that was one of the biggest nights in Seattle.
And you've pretty much been in the scene since. Like, have you?
No, I have not. Where's some wood at? Right
behind you.
Yeah, it's like
I have not had a day job since I started DJing.
Dude.
I was working at a travel agency when I was working those two, and then I kept like, dude, screw this, man. I'm making more money than I'm working all week. You know,
I know it's hard. It's so hard to say no to.
So I just
like there's been multiple times where I'm like, I'm over it, and thinking I'm going to move on, and then 2 months later I'm back at it again, just because where else can you go and make that kind of money on a weekend?
Not only that, where else can you go and do something you would love and enjoy? Yeah. Even the worst night that I have, it's so funny. People go. Sometimes I'm like, I gotta go to work tonight, and they're like, what the hell you gotta go to work? And I'm like, I know, but I'm tired, and I'm hungover and whatever. And then I get there and I have like 2 Kettle Ones, and I'm like, I'm back. Here we go. This is the best night of my life.
Yeah. No.
Speaking of which, I'm gonna grab a beer.
Yeah.
So Mike, while he's out of here, maybe you already explained it or touched on it, but so how did you meet DJ Tamm? How did you come
Honestly,
into his world?
I don't remember the first time I met him out of the blue kind of thing. I just kind of became acquainted to him through work, and then I think it was we were doing these kind of open mic nights at a place called Ampersand. Yeah, I think that was it. Is that where I met you? Was Ampersand? Those open mic nights?
Open decks?
Open decks when Side was doing those battles and stuff?
Well, we did it before Side.
When did we meet? I mean, I honestly can't remember.
I think it must have been there.
There or down in...
or maybe you guys met at one of these clubs where you learn about Celine Dion?
Yeah, that club. Do you remember when...
The Canadian clubs?
Encore was just fresh open. Jeff had a few kind of like Sunday night things down there or something, and it invited a bunch of guys down to play. I never
went down there for that.
Really? That's where I met Marty at, and I think that's kind of the same time frame where I was kind of... Because I was up in Anacortes for a long time and slowly got down to Seattle.
I think I met you at Ampersand because I think you brought your mixer.
Yeah, probably.
I think that's what it was. You brought that
big ass. Do you remember they would set those up on the
coasters?
No, glasses.
Oh yeah.
Like the decks were too low because when you're trying to DJ,
you put them on rocks glasses, flip them over, and put the.
So we were literally DJing on top of glasses and on a just table, and it was a fun night. I mean,
worked out. I mean, it was fun.
I feel like a scrap of cardboard would have been as effective. It was
about going out and drinking and having fun and meeting people and talking. I wish that was still around, to be honest with you.
Well, if you dream it, you can do it.
Well, hey, Ronnie, remember Ronnie?
Yeah,
was the
Ronnie's
manager?
awesome.
Yeah, he was the one that wanted to do it, and I was like, I guess. I mean, it was a Tuesday night.
Yeah, it was an off night.
And I don't think we got paid. I think I got paid a little bit once.
No, it was like you're going to get free drinks.
Yeah.
And it was more to hang
and
out
free,
with
and
other
free
DJs.
taco. Remember the tacos?
Tacos were great.
They had the old Korean lady in the back. Her name was Mama. I was like, Mama, we need another round of them tacos. And she come out. She was crazy. Bro, man, I don't even need to get into her. She was.
Well, that was just an awesome venue.
But it was so crappy sometimes because basically it was, who was I doing it with? Who originally started it?
The Tuesday night thing?
Yeah, it was before Side and FaZe started doing the, or maybe it was FaZe and I. It was me and somebody, and so it was cool when a bunch of you fuckers showed up. But
Because we would sit there and play all night.
yeah. But when you guys, well, it was supposed to be like, go ahead and play like whatever. But when sometimes no one showed up, and it's like
You're stuck doing it, and like,
not
what
just
the hell?
that, you're just bored as hell. You're like, I didn't start this night for this.
Yeah,
You know?
an off night, Tuesday night, no one really comes out.
Usually there was at least one person, but sometimes it'd be just like me, and I had to set up. We had to set up all the crap, and
I think Side probably felt that way a little bit with Amber on Thursdays.
was he trying to do that?
Well, he did that for a long time down there. He did those kind of like loungy Thursday nights.
I didn't know it was like open.
It wasn't open, but
Oh.
I just, I think he felt kind of the same way, just like,
Yeah.
Well,
I mean, as a DJ, we've all had nights that were absolutely horrible.
yeah. Well,
Like, we're like
when you're
we're
playing
like
to two people,
yeah.
and
you're like,
that is
what
a
did I
whole
do
nother level
wrong?
of, or even when it's busy and no one's like, you're just not in the zone. You're not.
Right.
No one's feeling you. It's hard. Like
Right.
when I first played here, to be honest with you, it was rough. It's gotten a little bit better over the last few years, just because they're used to it now. But the first couple times, man, I had no clue what to play.
Right.
I was going to say, you might want to upplay the experience since
Yeah.
Tamm here is playing here
Doing
tonight.
it tonight.
Yeah, no,
You might tell him how awesome it is. And
Okay, so Fridays have been really busy.
You got any
Fridays have been
Celine Dion?
great. Yeah.
well, we got an expert in the house.
Thursdays we do video. I hope you're good with video.
Yep,
So, but yeah,
Betamax. He can only do Betamax, but he can do video.
So
Laser disc.
You do Thursday video nights, anyways,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So yeah, you're right on par for schedule here.
Yep.
But anyways, I think we're getting there. We're about an hour in.
Cool. Well, yeah. So let me wind this down a little bit. So we're, like I mentioned, we're recording in Pocatello. We drug DJ Tamm up here. He's in town for a wedding, actually, in Salt Lake. So there's going to be a lot of back and forth over the next couple of days. But he's playing tonight. Of course, you'll hear this a week from now. So, so just know the show.
Was great.
Yeah, the
It
show
was
went
awesome.
great. The place was bouncing off
Sold
the walls.
out.
Brought down the house.
Yeah. So, but
Celine Dion remixes.
but Tamm, do you have a website, social media, any place people can find you?
Social media, pretty much. Facebook, if anybody still uses it. DJ Tamm, Tamm.
You can also go to C895 and catch your
C895. Yeah, C895.org.
Yeah.
So
Also,
you got a MySpace page? I hear that's where all the kids are at.
Dude, I think I still have one.
I don't know if mine's deactivated or not. Instagram, DJ Tamm Seattle.
We'll tag you in the show
Yeah, and we'll
notes.
make sure to add some info in the show
Twitter.
notes.
Twitter,
And
I
it's-
barely ever use it anymore.
Yeah.
Twitter's the one that you're supposed to be using too.
Really?
Is that the one now?
That's the one all the celebrities use.
Well, if you want to get right at them or whatever, I
Although I'm
seriously-
pissed because the celebrities are getting 280 characters now. Everybody else gets 140.
Oh, so they can speak their mind.
Yeah.
Oh, that's how it is. That's messed up.
Too bad they can't
right?
give Trump 50.
Or 10.
40.
Trim him
Yeah,
back. Maybe
yeah.
just cut his account off.
We're
Suspend
done.
him.
Oh god.
So,
I actually follow him
really?
just because
Just
I
to
want to see.
keep
You
up.
want to see what the crazy shit's going to happen the next
Yeah,
day?
but then again, I never look at it. So
Yeah. So, you can find me at djontic.com. All my social links and all that stuff are there. And
Yeah, I'm gonna get super concise like Mike. Instead of giving you all my stuff, just go to r2mg.com to learn about me and R2 Media Group in Barcelona and Salt Lake City. And
Yeah.
catch the show
So,
at eggscast.com and at eggs show on Instagram and Twitter.
awesome.
So with that, DJ Tamm, thanks so much.
Yeah.
thank you guys so much for having
Appreciate
me.
you
Man. I had a
coming
good
in.
time.
Really appreciate you coming 2 hours out of your way to play at a a venue in Pocatello, Idaho.
Hey man, it's all about
Center
the
Street
experience.
Clubhouse. That's where it's at, Doc.
Hey
So-
man, every crowd's different.
Yeah,
So-
it'll be fun. We're gonna have a good time tonight.
Oh,
Yeah,
So-
well, and fun to meet one of Mike's old buddies. I hear about this guy a lot, so it was cool to meet him. We met for the first time at the Salt Lake City airport today, and then sat next to each other for 2.5 hours. So
Yeah.
we had
They,
plenty
they
of time
got
to
the
get
whole
to know each other.
backstory, and we're like, shit, what are we talking
Yeah, by
about?
the time we got by the time we got here, there's nothing left to say.
Yeah.
So anyway, with that, thanks for tuning in. Rate, like, subscribe, share it. Tell your mom, tell your friends, and we'll see you next week.
All right, later.